Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today, I am going to be covering some pretty major Jedi Survivor news. It's kind of bad, but I promise I am going to find a silver lining in all of this. Before I dive deep into this article, I'm sure you noticed that I am holding a microphone today. The channel is finally upgrading. I know, I'm sorry it took me forever to finally get some good audio quality for you guys when you hear me talk, but I'm taking it more seriously now and I've managed to find one on a budget, since my channel is pretty much on a budget. Alright, enough rambling, let's get into the news. So yesterday a major news article came out, well, a lot of them actually, that the director of the Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor series is leaving Respawn Entertainment and has departed from EA. I have been obviously following this series for a while, and I pretty much know some of the main people who work on it. So Stig Asmussen, I hope I didn't just butcher his name, but anyway, he is the main director of these video games, and he's pretty much the reason why these games even happened to begin with. And so I'm going to read what the official statement has said on his departure. After careful thought and consideration, Stig Asmussen has decided to leave Respawn to pursue other adventures, and we wish him the best of luck, an EA spokesperson said on the announcement. Veteran Respawn leaders will be stepping up to guide the team as they continue their work on Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Now, before you all panic, just take a deep breath. I promise there is some good news behind this. I'm sure this is a pretty big shock to most of you, I mean me included. I did not expect this at all, especially since just recently Stig said that he pictured this series as a trilogy. So he was pretty much like, yeah, like we're getting a third game going. But also he didn't confirm it. He just kind of was like, yeah, we're thinking about it. I kind of envisioned this from the get-go that this was going to be a trilogy. But now that he's leaving and everyone's panicking and freaking out, like, okay, does that mean that's the end of Cal Kestis? Like, we're not going to know what's going to happen next? No, the game is not canceled. It's still going forward. They're just probably going to have someone else replace him and take his place. And in the statement, they said that there's other workers in Respawn that will take the game forward. I did a little digging myself, and I did quite a lot of research to figure out why this sudden decision just happened. Back in March, when Jedi Survivor was initially supposed to come out, it got pushed back to April 28th because they needed more time to work on the game. And apparently, from what I've read and dug up, EA asked Stig, how much time do you need? And apparently Stig was like, we only need 6 weeks to work on the game, which obviously was not enough time because the game was pretty broken when it launched. So basically, he wanted the game out because he was already like, we've already delayed it once, I'm not going to do it again. Which honestly, I would have preferred if the game did get pushed back a little bit. I mean, I rather would have a clean game than a bunch of bugs. Luckily, I wasn't one of those fans who had major bugs. The game did crash on me though, like 3 times, I will say that. But it hasn't crashed on me since then, but it was a pretty rocky start, like many other players, because I played my game like many others on the computer. I'm not blaming Stig for this whole thing. I'm not saying this is entirely his fault. I'm just saying from what I've read and researched upon, it seems like that he really just wanted to push the game out and he underestimated the game performance and didn't realize how bad the bugs and glitches were going to be on launch. Half of this is a major shock, but then once I kind of was more reading about it, I am not surprised at the same time, because in another article, hold on, let me pull it up. I'm gonna skim the article a little because it just basically talks about the success of Jedi Fallen Order versus Survivor and blah blah blah. I mean, we all know how that went. Anyway, so it says, Stig's departure comes amid an uncertain period for EA, with Respawn among the studios being split into a separate EA Entertainment group. BioWare has been among the studios most affected by the change, having experienced harsh layoffs in the midst of Dragon Age, Dreadwolf's development. To me, it sounds like a mix of a lot of things. I do know that a lot of people were laid off while Jedi Survivor was being developed during COVID. I remember reading a few articles saying like this many percent from Respawn is no longer there, and job openings were actually opening up. Not that I'm ever going to work for Respawn, but I was just curious because I wanted to see how the game development at that time for Survivor was doing. You know, I didn't want to see any delays. And the engines they use a lot are Unreal Engine to make these games. I know there's a couple others, I can't think of them off the top of my head, but there's a lot of changes happening in the gaming world. As for the remaining people who are working on whatever is next for Jedi Survivor, which I kind of thought was interesting that they ended the quote on that, I'm kind of hoping it means maybe future DLC, because I did hear recently that they're continuing to work on porting this game for the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. Now that that part is covered, I want to start talking about the future of the game and the future of Cal Kestis' story, since I'm sure many of you like me are wondering what's going to happen now. Since the remaining people who did work on this game and who are trying to probably get more directors, more writers, and people, again, they are hiring. I did look and saw job openings. Please, if you ever consider Respawn, I am available. It sounds like they've got a lot more they want to do with Survivor. I'm sure they want to continue polishing the game and make sure it's still playable for everyone across every single system. Maybe a year from now we'll get some DLC, maybe some little side quest or something with a new character, kind of like a Boba Fett kind of quest. Because they did do that for Fallen Order back in 2020. They released the battle grid and something else I can't remember. We'll definitely have to wait and see how this all plays out. It's really unfortunate that Stig has decided to leave, but at the same time, it seems like maybe it was time for him to depart, because maybe we don't know what else went behind the scenes. Maybe there were some creative differences. Maybe he was so stressed out from the development of Survivor that he was just like, I'm done, you know, like I want to just kind of place it in someone else's hands now and let them take it over. EA has even stated that Jedi Survivor has become a commercial success, so of course, why wouldn't they continue the story? I'm not pinning this on Stig and saying it's entirely his fault, and yes, he is the main director, he's the main visionary of it, but there's other people who do work on these video games, and I think people tend to forget that when it comes to these AAA games. They think, oh, it's just one person who created the whole thing and that's it. Like, no, there's other writers, there's other directors, there's other game designers, like there's thousands and thousands of people who put a lot of time and effort to make these games, you know, playable and enjoyable for us, the consumers and fans. I know it's kind of scary since Stig pretty much had an envisionment what he kind of saw the story to be and what it could be, and to drastically change it before the third game is even in development. Well, it's in development, but before it's like ready to come out, seems, you know, scary for fans who are diehard Cal Kestis fans and the Mantis crew. We just want to see our characters have a satisfying ending or continuation. As heartbroken as I am to see Stig leave, it's probably for the best, so they don't make those same mistakes that they did with Survivor in terms of pushing the game and really just cleaning it up, really polishing it, and knowing when it's ready. They know, like, they don't have to overthink it, they don't have to pressure themselves for it, like they will take their time to produce it. And also, no game in this universe is ever perfect on launch. I know Hogwarts Legacy had some pretty not terrible glitches, but they had a few glitches as well when it launched, and Cyberpunk, I know, had a lot of glitches when that dropped, so you know, we just have to give these guys kudos for putting their blood, sweat, and tears into these games to begin with, and just be patient. That is the key thing here. That's the word I've been searching for. Patience. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, let's wait and see what happens from here. I'm sure whoever takes over next will handle this game with care and really take their time to develop the third game into something that will totally surpass the first two games. Sorry, I'm just starting to go on a tangent now, but I really wanted to get this video out there because when I first read it, I immediately went into like panic mode. I was like, guys, someone needs to calm me down because I am about to like explode because Cal is my boy, that is my baby. Like, I do not want anything to happen to his story. This is the reason why I got back into Star Wars. Like, don't take it away from me now. This too shall pass. We will be okay. We are going to get another Cal Kestis game. I'm putting it into the universe and I'm not letting anyone stop me. Manifestation, people. You don't know the power of it until you try it. I'm just saying. Okay, I'm done now. I hope you all have a great day. And as always, my Padawan learners, may the Force be with you.